Good morning. Welcome to the Thurston County Board of County Commissioners agenda setting work session for Tuesday, May 13th, 2025. It is 9:06 a.m. My name is Ty Menser, Chair of the Board, Vice Chair Commissioner Wayne Fournier on Zoom, as well as Commissioner Klaus. To my left is Commissioner Carolina Mejia, Commissioner Rachel Grant, County Manager Leonard Hernandez, and Assistant County Managers Jennifer Walker and Josh Cummings, Clerk of the Board Amy Davis. We have a varied agenda, and we're going to make a couple of adjustments to that in just a moment. Public virtual attendance is available on the Thurston County YouTube channel. Public written comment may be received up to 2 hours in advance of this meeting and would be distributed to the Board of County Commissioners. Action may be taken at this meeting. So we have a proposed agenda for the morning work session, and I believe I'm going to ask the clerk to outline a proposed change that has come forward.
Good morning, Commissioners. Amy Davis, Clerk of the Board. We are proposing to add a closed session to the agenda to discuss collective bargaining agreements. So if there's a motion to amend the agenda.
And the reason Commissioners were asking for this to be added today is because it's a time sensitive. There's a deadline by Friday that staff were given very recently. And so the recommended motion is there on the proposed agenda. That's
so moved.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to amend the agenda to add the closed session under agenda item 3 related to the collective bargaining issue. Discussion on the motion. Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries unanimously. So we have a new proposed agenda. I'll set aside the old one. And first up on that is to review the first review of the May 20th business meeting. So this afternoon is a Board of Health meeting, but next Tuesday will be a board business meeting. So if you pull that forward, we'll begin at 2 p.m. Per usual, Pledge of Allegiance led by District 2 Commissioner. That would be Commissioner Grant. Right? Yeah, got my district straight. Land acknowledgement approval of agenda. We'll have a presentation regarding Missing Persons Awareness Month.
Yeah, for May's community engagement style of proclamation presentation, it is for Missing Persons Awareness Month. We are doing a bit of a scaled back presentation due to some sensitivity around the topic. So we will have Thurston County, the Sheriff's Office, and our partners that we work with for missing persons. We'll have a representative from the AGO's office here. I think that covers it. Did you want to speak to any of that?
Yeah, Commissioners, this is a very important topic, and obviously they're surrounded with a level of sensitivity. And so I appreciate staff's interaction with our sheriff and department and their guidance on what's the best way to bring an important spotlight to this conversation, but also preserve the privacy of folks that have suffered through a missing person. And so we're going to try to work that balance, and I think that what we have outlined, we'll be able to do that successfully.
Commissioner Fournier.
Yeah, I just want to say I appreciate staff, what they put together. I think it's important that we, keep saying these folks' names, and that we recognize that we have propped up a cold case unit within the Sheriff's Department, and so to just highlight the work that they do and reassure the families that we don't give up in Thurston County when somebody goes missing is really important to do. So I appreciate everyone putting this together.
Any questions for staff on this one? Okay, and let's move along to, we'll have public comment, County Manager update. Anything you're prepping, County Manager?
No, nothing at this time.
Okay. My understanding is that we're pulling consent item 1.
Yes, Chair and Commissioners, that's our recommendation. That's actually coming from staff. There's a bit more work that needs to be done, so we look to bring this item back at a future board meeting.
Okay, so we will have no item 1, and then let's go to item 2, appointment to the Timberland Regional Library Board of Trustees. This was basically the decision that we made to appoint Susan Hettinger. Questions? This then goes off, once we approve it, it goes off to other counties for their.
Correct.
consideration. Okay, any questions on item 2? Perfect. Item 3, call for sealed bids for official county newspaper.
Morning, Commissioners. This is the annual call for sealed bids for the official county newspaper. We publish the call for sealed bids in, of course, our current official county newspaper and in all legal newspapers in the county. We also mail the call for sealed bids to them, to the publishers. So we look forward to bringing this item back to you for next year's official county newspaper.
Questions on item 3? Okay, item 4, resolution to reclassify position senior civil engineer to water sewer engineering and operations manager, Public Works. HR.
Morning, Commissioners. Maria Ponte, Human Resources Director. This morning I'm presenting a request from Public Works Department to reclassify a vacant senior civil engineer position to a water and sewer engineering and operations manager. I want to lead with there is no impact to the general fund. The position will be funded solely through water and sewer rates. And the position is necessary to help manage the statutory requirements of county managed water and sewer utilities and improve support for the utility operations team. This reclassification will facilitate a reorganization of that structure to be more efficient and focus on engineering solutions and address system growth and operational needs. The vacant senior civil engineer position is non-union, so there's not a requirement to notify the union rep. And in terms of the salary range, the difference between the two classifications, top salaries, is a $435 increase a month. With that, I'll take any questions.
Questions for Maria? See you, Nady.
Thank you.
Item 5 is contract award with the Sidwell Company for parcel fabric migration to new version of GIS software.
Sherry is under the weather today, so pinch hitting here. Chris.
Good morning, Commissioners. Chris Keller, IT Technical Manager. So we have the IT would like to recommend or move to approve a contract with the Sidwell Company for the amount of $33,214 and authorize the Director of Information Technology to execute the agreements and amendments that do not exceed 10% of the contract amount. Thurston County's vendor for GIS software, Environment Systems Research Incorporated. Also, the acronym is ESRI on that. You might have heard of that one. We'll be stopping all support for GIS versions earlier than 10.9 as of March of 26. So all GIS related items in the county must be migrated to the newer version, including our GIS data. So we have to start this fall. That's the aim. The first and most fundamental set of data to be migrated is the parcel fabric. This is the GIS data set that contains the records of Thurston County parcels maintained by the Assessor's Office. The process of migrating requires special knowledge and experience and requires resources Thurston County IT and the Assessor's Office don't have available to them. There was an RFP done a couple months ago. Sherry brought that to the board. The RFP was the Sidwell Company would be the successful bidder on that. They were the lowest, most experienced, and all requirements, and they met all requirements. With that, I'll take any questions.
Thank you, Chris. Questions? Not seeing any. Thank you, Chris.
Thanks.
You got the next one?
I think I have the next one too.
All right, well then, let's get to that. Okay, next one is renewal for Ivanti Service Manager Cloud System Subscription, 5-year term.
Yes, so IT would like to recommend a move to approve the 5-year renewal subscription for Avante Service Manager Cloud System for a total of $157,081.30. That comes out to $31,416.25 annually, plus tax, and authorize the Director of Information Technology to execute the agreement and any amendments that do not exceed 10%. The Avante Service Management Subscription Renewal includes migration to the cloud from an on-premise system, reducing staff overhead to maintain servers, patches, and upgrades. The subscription locks in pricing for 5 years, and the cost is already collected in our annual rates. Any
Chris,
questions?
did you say what the Avante, is that for the ticketing system?
Yes, that's our IT service management, yeah. You guys might have seen it as Reboot.
Questions on item 6? Nope. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Item 7, sole source procurement, Pacific Outdoor Video Billboard Advertising Space.
Good morning, Jen Freiheit, Public Health and Social Services Director. This is a request to approve the single source purchase for overdose prevention campaign messaging for 3 video billboards lasting 3 months, each with Pacific Outdoor for $33,000. We are launching multiple local overdose prevention campaigns which contain messaging to promote awareness of naloxone and where to obtain it, how to recognize and respond to an overdose, and other related information. This messaging is adapted from the Healthcare Authority's Friends for Life Overdose Prevention Campaign, and all campaign materials align with the goals and strategies of Thurston County's opioid response plan. I can answer any questions.
Thank you. Where are these billboards located?
Yep, there will be 3. 2 are on Highway 101 and 1 is on Highway 99.
The 2 on Highway 101 those are the ones located in the Squaxin.
1 is Old Steamboat Island Road Northwest, and 1 is at the intersection of Washington 108.
Which is, yeah, so. it's
And
right
we
where the
picked
trade
those
center is.
because we thought they'd have the greatest viewership.
And this is with the grant, correct?
Correct.
Any other questions for Dr. Freiheit? No? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is item 8, also public health, setting a public hearing for program year 2025 HUD Annual Action Plan, an amendment to the 2023-27 HUD Consolidated Plan.
Before Commissioners, staff present, I just wanted to give a huge thanks to Dr. Freiheit and to Alex for how much work they put in this year on the HUD Action Plan. A lot of coordination and communication and touching base with the mayors of the South County area. And I saw them go above and beyond in scheduling extra meetings and working to create flexibility so that everyone could be at the table. So thank you for being responsive and adaptive to the needs of our community. With that, I'm back over.
Thank you. And this is a request of the board to set a public hearing for Tuesday, June 17th, 2025 at 3:30 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter may be heard, as said, to receive and consider public comments on the program year 2025 U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD, Annual Action Plan and the 2023 to 2027 HUD Consolidated Plan Amendment. And I have Alex Purse here to help answer any questions.
This one is the annual, right? And I'm trying to recall if I've ever had a public comment on this particular item from the community, so.
The annual action plan public hearing is the annual part. The only thing that is not annual is the amendment to the consolidated plan, and the reason we're amending it is to remove Lacey from our CDBG consortium because they're becoming their own entitlement community. So we're
Okay.
required to do a 30-day public comment period.
All right, well, that's a new recall to it. Questions for staff? Nope, straightforward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, interlocal cooperation agreement for SWAT deployment, Lacey Fire District 3. Sheriff's item.
They're planning to join us remotely, so Chair, maybe we could.
We'll circle back to it.
Yep.
All right, let's just move along. We'll come back to item 9. Item 10 is single source purchase biomedical sensors for individuals housed at the jail. Also a sheriff's item, so maybe we'll double back to that one as well.
That'd be great.
Then item 11, sale of tax title property. Treasurer Gavin, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for your time this morning. Jeff Gadman, Thurston County Treasurer. What I'm bringing before you is proposed sale of a piece of property, tax title property down in the Rainier area. It is a former right-of-way, railroad right-of-way that was never used. It's ancient. The buyer that is interested in this owns the property on both sides of this right-of-way, so it really makes sense. They're already using the property, so they might as well own it, right?
Okay. Questions on this tax title? Nope. Okay, thank you.
Awesome, thank you.
Yep. See you, Chair.
That was quick and painless.
All right, we've got voucher lists, several here catching up from February 24th, March 31st, and then the 4 items from April. Questions from the board on any of those at this point? Okay. And that wraps up consent, except for our 2 sheriff items we'll double back to. Let's go to department item, Public Health and Social Services, contract with Housing Authority of Thurston County, Sterling Pines Affordable Housing.
Welcome back. Jen Freiheit, Director of Public Health and Social Services. This is a request for approval of a contract with the Housing Authority of Thurston County for the total amount of $950,000 for the rehabilitation of 24 units of affordable rental housing for seniors. In March 2025, the Housing Authority of Thurston County submitted an application to the Regional Housing Council's Affordable Housing Advisory Board Opportunity Fund. The Opportunity Fund was created by the Advisory Board as a set aside of funding to award to projects who are seeking funding outside of the RHC's annual request for proposals. To receive an award from the Opportunity Fund, the project must be emergent in nature, have been unforeseen at the time of the most recent RFP, and need the funding in order to actualize the project. And again, I have Alex Purse here to help answer any questions.
Questions? So, rehabilitation of 24 units, so it's like a existing
It's an existing.
structure that they're,
Yes, the Housing Authority purchased the Tumwater Inn, which is on Capitol Boulevard in Tumwater, and they're rehabbing it to create affordable rental housing for seniors. And when they started their rehab, they realized there was a lot more contamination of asbestos and methamphetamine. So they are had to remove all of the drywall, and so this is going to help fund the replacement of the drywall on the roof.
How much funding is available in that fund?
I can confirm with you, but at the time, I believe it's 1.4 million. I will confirm that for next week.
okay, other questions on the project? Nope, okay.
Thank you.
Item 7,
Chair,
Pub-
just, we have the undersheriff here, but please carry on.
is that okay, Matt? Yeah. We pull undersheriff forward. Yeah, we went by your 2 consent items and we'll double back. So we're looking at items 9 and 10 on the consent calendar. The first one is interlocal cooperation agreement for SWAT deployment with Lacey Fire District 3.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is the same interlocal agreement that was brought before the board a couple weeks ago. The only thing that's changed is after reviewing, Lacey Fire District 3 reviewed everything with their insurance carriers. They thought that the original requirement for $10 million was higher than normal for what the position would be doing. Our risk management and legal looked at it as well and agreed that it could be normal for a fire department. Their normal insurance coverage would be $3 million for general liability and $1 million for auto liability. And because Lacey Fire District 3 doesn't have any police officers or deputies doing roles of that nature on the team, that this would suffice for their coverage. So the only change to ILA was just that dollar amount for the insurance coverage.
Questions for Undersheriff? Nope. All right, and let's go to your second item. biomedical sensors for individuals housed at the jail.
And this is requesting a single source purchase for ceiling and wall-mounted biometric sensors associated equipment from Reassurance Solutions LLC for $48,268, and authorize the sheriff or designee to execute the purchase contract of any amendment that do not exceed 10%. These are a sensor that will be installed in the ceiling of a couple of our jail cells where we have high-risk inmates with medical issues or you could say mental health issues that needed to be monitored. If that person or while that person is in that jail cell, the monitor will alarm the station being monitored. If there's a change in breathing rate, pulse, anything like that, that is what these sensors would do. We're trying to install them in a couple of our cells and be able to monitor people the entire time that they're in there versus just the checks that we do on a timely basis.
Is this like it was like a pilot of a new item, or you already have some of these?
It's new. It is new. Most of the payment that will come from this is actually provided by a grant from the risk pool, and it was brought to us by the risk pool that these items were out there. I think there was two different versions, one that's wall or ceiling mounted, and the other one was a wristband mounted option. Figured that there were some issues with the wrist mounted, or they might not be worn, or they might damage them or take them off. The ceiling mounted is a little bit better protected and can monitor without having to wear anything.
So is it just for the cells with one person in it? How does it monitor multiple people in a room?
I believe it will just do one for each room. And we're trying to start out with a certain amount of them in a couple cells that we use. And then hopefully, if this seems to be a proven and well-working item, that we would try to get them in more of the single cells that we have people that are high risk in.
They're gonna go in our high-risk cells. So we have some suicide watch cells that they'll be placed in. And then also another area that we've seen some risk throughout our time in the jail has been in booking area. So you'll have people who come in who are intoxicated or whatnot, or they're going through acute withdrawal. And so they're temporarily placed in these single holding cells and booking. And so those are the cells that we're gonna focus on at first. And then our hope is that if they do provide a valuable resource, which we think they will, then we can seek some more grant money in the future to start building out the cell areas as well. And I think there's at one point in time I was told that there was a model or a brand or something, or maybe it's these that can do up to 2 in a cell at one time, so they can track 2 heartbeats at one time. So that might be something to look at too, since most of our cells are double.
This is great. This is really innovative and really will help with those who are coming in, with, most people are coming in on drugs. So, with withdrawal, it's.
And I think the biggest benefit to these is it's monitoring them constantly, not just when I go and look in the little window to do my timely check.
Right.
It's monitoring them constantly, and then it'll alarm if there's a change in.
For a medical event, yeah,
Yes.
that's great.
And the inmates know that too. It was 2 weeks ago, last week, where one of our CDs did a cell check, saw a person, walked away. They knew that they had 15 minutes and they tried to kill themselves. And it just so happened that the deputy was like, oh, I forgot something, and walked back by and was like, whoa. And so this is something that will fill the gaps.
I'm excited to hear that Risk is being proactive and sending you ideas and that you're collaborating. What a great partnership. Thank you, Sheriff team, for connecting with Risk, and a special thanks to Brian Bishop.
Yes,
Brian's my favorite.
Now that hurt my feelings.
No, I mean, in Risk. Yeah, sorry, we'll categorize this out.
All right.
Cool.
And Sheriff, we covered the SWAT deployment contract change with the insurance, so.
Cool.
No questions on that. All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
In here.
All right, so that brings us back to Public Works. Thank you, Matt. Contract award for Pleasant Glade Elementary Pedestrian Improvements Project.
All right, Matt Huntsman, Thurston County Engineer. Good morning. Public Works is requesting the Board of County Commissioners award the contract for the Pleasant Glade Elementary Project to Sterling Breen Crushing of Centralia, Washington, in the amount of $963,246. 9 bids were received for this project. and Sterling Bring was the lowest responsive bidder. This project will install approximately a third mile of sidewalk and bicycle lane between 15th Avenue and the Pleasant Glade Elementary School on Abernathy. This project is part of the Washington State Department of Transportation's Safe Route to Schools program to improve safety and mobility for children by enabling and encouraging them to walk and bike to school. A Safe Routes to School grant will fund 90% of this project, and the remaining amount will come from the county road fund. So once again, leveraging those county road fund dollars.
Questions for Matt? Nope. Okay, thank you. Next public works item is contract award for environmental mitigation site maintenance services.
Public Works is requesting the Board of County Commissioners award the contract for the environmental mitigation site maintenance services to Sound Native Plants of Portland, Oregon, in the amount of $500,000. This proposal was received in a response to a RFP. As part of capital projects, we're often required to do environmental mitigation to meet the requirements of the permitting authorities. Many of these mitigation sites have monitoring periods specified by the regulatory authority, and they also have performance measures that must be met as well. This contract award to South Native Plants will be for a maximum of 5 years, consisting of a 1-year initial base period and 4 one-year renewal options at guaranteed rates.
Any questions on this item? Nope. Interlocal agreement for bicycle donation space at the Waste and Recovery Center.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jeff Bickford, Solid Waste Manager. So a little background on this is Intercity Transit has a program called the Walk and Roll program. As part of that, there's a piece of that is something they call Pedal It Forward, where they accept donations of used adult-sized bicycles, and they refurbish them, and then they give them back out into the community. So they've only been able to collect them at their facility, their limited space, and they're getting a limited number of bikes, and they'd like to expand that. So they actually approached us looking to see if we would be able to provide a space at the Waste and Recovery Center for the folks to be able to drop off the bicycles, and then they would then take them and that program expand their availability. So they approached us. Now what you have in front of you is an ILA, an interlocal agreement with Intercity Transit. So we would set up our piece of it, be setting up a location in a box that the public can drop off adult-sized bicycles at the Waste and Recovery Center. They will service that, come out, pick them up, take them away, and do their thing. So this is a pilot program this will be for a year. We want to just take a look and see how well this will work. So that's what's before us, and I'm willing to answer any questions.
The forward program's pretty amazing. So the fact that we get to participate sounds exciting.
I'll mention that I recently toured, both facilities, so Intercity Transit and the bike shop, and also just spent some time over at Waste and Recovery Center, and I think this is a really great collaboration. The walk and roll, I was blown away by the fact that they have nights where, and I just want to say this publicly, that there are nights where you can go in and fix your bike. You can, if you are in the need of a bike, you can go in there and work on it. If you know how to work on bikes, you can volunteer time to go in there. It's an amazing shop, and I think that this is going to be great because I personally had a bike that I needed to get rid of, and what a great place. And it was too nice of a bike that I was like, I don't want to just get, so what a great place, and this will make it a lot easier, one-stop shop when you're emptying a garage. So I also want to mention that how incredible the Waste and Recovery Center tour was, how clean it is out there, and how well managed and well organized it is. And so I just want to give you guys props out there because I had a great time and I learned a ton. So thank you for that.
I think what an opportunity in terms of highlighting the missions of both agencies and specific programs. So we talk about like repurposing as opposed to throwing it away.
Storing them in my garage.
Yep.
Giving me some good ideas for my garage full of bikes.
Yes, see, that's my garage, yeah, I was like, the kids are too old, they don't want them anymore,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right,
So
cool.
cool.
Yeah, Walk and Roll is an awesome program, top to bottom. So glad we were able to assist. Thank you, Jeff. We'll have commissioner reports, adjournment, but before, or 3:30, whenever that falls, we will have a public hearing regarding ordinance amending code to regulate disposition of public property for affordable housing. This is one we rescheduled, if I'm remembering correctly.
Noticing. When we have the noticing is now correct and appropriate, so we're ready to go.
Any questions on this? We had previously covered it. We had to just bump it for a notice issue. Come on up, Rick, are you a part of this one? Yes. Okay. Anything you want to say to remind us what this is about?
This is about being able to surplus property based upon the new state law that gives the authority to the state and counties to do so. And this is, I'm going to say, in preference to some work we're doing with Homes First to potentially transfer property in a future time.
We need to amend our code first, and this is that public hearing. Then the code gets amended, and then we can take an action with Homes First to dispose of some surplus property.
And I'm thankful to staff for working through this process. This is a great example of our new foot forward to where we are grabbing hold of things and creating process, working behind the scenes with all the stakeholders and internal players that need to work on this, and then bringing something to the commissioners so we can actually implement. But then we have the process laid out for future implementation. I love that, Scott.
Okay, Commissioner Mejia.
Thank you. I just, as a heads up, I did receive a public comment in regards to this that I'm sending over to you all. But I'm wondering if it's possible, I would like some of the questions answered. Can we have?
Absolutely, we'll do that. Thank you, Commissioner.
Okay, so that's the end of the May 20th agenda, and in terms of a second review next week, I didn't hear, well, there's some questions Commissioner Mejia would like followed up on with regard to a public input, but is there anything else that folks wanted? I didn't hear anything that was a follow-up item.
Nothing to follow up on. Consent item 1 will be removed from the agenda. That's all.
But that's not to be brought back next week, it's future agenda. Commissioners, anything you would like to have reviewed again next week from this agenda beyond potentially the public hearing issue? Just so we're all on the same page. Okay, good, thank you. Let's move on. Next. Is the Church Hill Road.
We have a emergency declaration before your consideration, and we have our county engineer that can give a little bit of background as to the level of urgency.
Okay, emergency declaration for Churchill Road Southeast at Scatter Creek Tributary Culvert Repair is the item on the agenda, and turn it over to Matt.
Yeah, and hopefully, everybody got a chance to review the photos that were in the packets. They're pretty telling. So this declaration will allow staff to waive competitive bidding requirements to expedite the process, to work with a contractor to make immediate repairs to a damaged 8-foot culvert on Churchill Road. Currently, this road is restricted to one lane. We had last month, we had to restrict it to one lane because the culvert had deteriorated in such a condition that it wasn't safe to keep both lanes open. We've also restricted it to passenger vehicles only. The planned repair consists of inserting a smaller pipe inside of a larger pipe and then fill in the void between the pipes with grout. The intent of the repair is temporary in nature. We will have to go back with a permanent replacement to meet WDFW stream crossing requirements. It'll likely end up being a 30 or 40 foot long bridge, so it'll become a capital project.
How long will this emergency repair last, probably?
It'll last long enough for us to design and get to construction on the permanent replacement, which typically that process can take, by the time you go through environmental permitting, right-of-way acquisition, design, all the good stuff, it can take 3 to 4 years often to go through the project delivery process. And we still have to come up with a funding package for what that, for whatever that permanent structure ends up being.
Matt, will we have a timeframe given to us in terms of we have to have it repaired by a certain time for permitting?
So
That's usually the trigger.
Yeah, so Fish and Wildlife will, much like they did on the Kellogg pipe replacement, which was an emergency replacement last year, is that they'll condition us that we need to have that structure in within 5 years.
Questions for
This
Matt?
is just an example. Unfortunately, we got an aging infrastructure out there. It's not just Thurston County, it's all across the US. And all these underground culverts and facilities are all kind of getting old at the same time. And so it's a challenge, especially when you have to replace all these pipes with a lot bigger structures that are expensive to construct.
So from a legal standpoint, so we're being asked to approve a resolution, and that allows us to, is that a budget issue, like budget authority, or what is it that?
It allows us to forego the bidding process.
Okay. To do something quickly.
Yeah,
without going through normal.
initially we're planning on going through the traditional bidding process, but the culvert is deteriorating at a much quicker rate than what we thought it would be. And it's actually to the point where there's concerns that we won't be able to keep the road open much longer, which is significant because we have 8 residential properties on the other side of this culvert, and we need to maintain access for them as well as emergency services.
Yeah, and while we absolutely trust that Public Works, with their knowledge of this type of work, relationship with vendors, will get the best price, doing this allows them to move forward and save months and months of that procurement process to get at it right away.
So the resolution is in our packets. It's got 3 pieces: declaring the emergency, waiving the competitive bidding, and then authorizing the Director of Public Works to sign for the contract for the repair of the culvert damage repair project. So questions from the board? And if not, I would entertain a motion.
I would move to declare a local emergency for the section of Churchill Road Southeast at Scatter Creek tributary pursuant to RCW 38.52.070 and 39.04.280, and to authorize the Director of Public Works to enter into a contract for the emergency repair.
Second.
Motion and second to declare local emergency and approve this resolution. Discussion on the motion. Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioners.
All right. That brings us to the next item, which is advisory boards. And we have an appointment to the Planning Commission proposed. This was proposed by Commissioner Mejia last meeting, and we have the applications in our packets, which I had a chance to look at. And at this point, if the board approve this motion, let's go on to next week's agenda.
So there's a proposed motion on today's agenda, free to take action today, so that.
Today. Oh, that's right, we're
Miller can
doing-
be appointed before the next.
That's right, that's right. So we wouldn't have to have it on a business agenda, it would be done today. Okay, is there discussion or questions about the proposed appointment? All right, I'd entertain a motion.
I move to appoint, sorry, get my glasses on. I move to appoint, is it Evan? Yvonne Miller to the Planning Commission at the District 1 representative, as the District 1 representative for the term of January 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2031.
I'll second.
Motion is second to appoint Yvonne Miller. Commissioner Mejia, is this an at-large appointment or a
It's my in-district.
in-district appointment? Any discussion of the motion? Call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Commissioner Fournier? Okay, call that an abstention, and we will, motion carries. Thank you. Then we will move right along to, the next item is an executive session.
Chair,
Yes.
sorry, I did have a couple of other advisory board
Oh, I'm
applications in
sorry.
the packet.
Sorry, yep, okay, let's look at what you got.
There are two applications for your consideration for reappointment to the Agriculture Advisory Committee. Both of these are eligible for reappointment and recommended by the committee. Craig is a non-farmer member on the committee, and Jacob Yancey is a farmer member and the current vice chair.
No, are there any like applications from, or that are piled up for people wanting to be on it?
Not on the ag committee for these seats. They do have a couple of applications going through the eligibility information process right now.
Because there's actually a vacant farmer and non-farmer.
There are, yeah.
So, and these two guys, I happen to know are super, super knowledgeable, so
I'm okay with
is there any concern about reappointment? I would support them. I've met both of them, and like I say, they have unique roles in the community in terms of how they fit into the, and so I'm sure their voices are appreciated. Questions? Prepared to go forward, commissioners? Commissioner Klaus, Commissioner Fournier? I got a thumbs up from Commissioner Grant and Mejia.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Okay. Then it looks like you have a concurrence to move those forward.
Thank you. Both reappointments will be added to the agenda of May 20th.
Perfect. All right. Okay, so then that covers our advisory board?
Thank you.
All right, then let's go to commissioner items under sub 3. First up is an executive session pursuant to RCW 4230-110-1B to consider selection of a site or acquisition of real estate or by lease or purchase when public knowledge regarding consideration would cause a likelihood of increased price. Habitat conservation plan is a topic at hand. 30 minutes proposed. We won't need that.
I don't think so.
Let's go with 15, and then we can extend. Board action may follow. It is 9:50, so we'll be in the next session till 10:05. Okay, so we're out. It's 10:07, out of executive session, and we have given direction to staff to proceed with what was discussed. And so that's it for that item. Thank you, Brent. So we're going to move on to the next piece of our agenda, which is a closed session. Slightly different legal framework here. RCW 4230, 144B. That portion of a meeting during which the governing body is planning or adopting strategy or position to be taken by governing body during the course of any collective bargaining, professional negotiations, or grievance or mediation proceedings, or reviewing the proposals made in the negotiations or proceedings while in progress. Collective bargaining agreements is the topic. 20 minutes estimated. Board action may follow. It is 10:09, and so, or it's like almost 10:10, so we'll be here till 10:30, and then we'll come out of that session and just any additional commissioner items, and then we'll be moving to a different session regarding budget update. So 10:10 to 10:30. Right, 10:31, we're back from our closed session. There's no legislative action to be taken by the board. And we're at the end of the, what's printed out. Are there any commissioner items to be covered here this morning before we move on to our next session? I quickly had one. We don't have to decide anything here. I'm just throwing out something that I've been asked about, and I would just like the board to think about it. Commissioner Mejia, I think will remember that we have our Ralph Monroe Trail over by Evergreen State College. It's county trail. We've supported a number of projects there related to Ralph Monroe and Bob Barnes and their team. In the past, we've supported their projects with some public works funding. I ran it up through Jennifer and county manager, and I guess the funding we've used just to see if the same type of funding support would be there, and apparently not. So my idea is maybe, I've got the budget here. They've got 25 coast redwood trees that have been donated. These are clones of ancient trees, and they plant them, and it basically upgrades our asset in the trail. But there's some composting and other expenses. It adds up to $12,278. We don't have to fund all of that. We can fund part of it. I was thinking about climate project money that we have because planting trees and carbon sequestration is part of our climate mitigation plan. So that would be another possibility. I'll have to check with budget staff and Rebecca and stuff on that. That's my other idea. But I just want everyone to know that this community ask has been made. We've supported it in the past. I go out there and help them plant and stuff, and they bring community in and kids in, and it's a great thing to do, and it helps. It actually helps, improve our county trail asset, as well as fitting into other environmental education and climate goals. So I like to try to find ways to support them. Ralph Monroe just passed away, and so it'd be kind of I think it would make me feel a little uncomfortable in this particular timing of this to not to support this ask. So I'd like to find a way, and maybe the climate fund is a way to do it. Commissioner Fournier.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner Manager. I like this idea. I'd stand in favor of it or exploring it further. I too think that especially given the fact that former Secretary of State Ralph Monroe just passed, it would be a shame to let something slide like this that's done in his name on his trail.
Appreciate that, Commissioner.
Yeah, I will also support just based on the history of our support and the community and the school support that goes into maintaining this. So I'm in support of your request.
I'll distribute the budget, and I'll let the county manager maybe kind of talk with him about next steps if there's. Okay, thank you. That was it. And so that's the end of the commissioner's agenda setting for this May 13th. We are going to now move to do we need a new Zoom, or can we do? Okay, so we'll stop, and we'll be taking up a budget work session just in a few moments on a different Zoom.